Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Please Get Help. It is me, Jack Thunderbolt. Uh, and then we only have one co-host today, Mr. Tojik. Taz cannot make it today, unfortunately. Though he would probably say he does regret it. Actually, no. I messed that up. It's like, we'll
The
just
point
say
is,
that he
he's
said
not here
hi to
today.
all of you.
The
Yeah, we'll just say, yeah, we'll just say he said hi. Anyway, thank you everybody who's watched the previous 5 episodes of Please Get Help. And I actually have feedback to read. This is from one of my other friends. They would like to stay anonymous, but here's what they had to say about it. They only watched the first episode though, but they said nice. Unfortunately, not for me. Our interests aren't always similar, but I love the energy, the passion you can feel when hearing it.
interesting.
Yeah, so I thought that was nice, and I pinned that in our Discord chat just so I could read it out.
Hmm.
Now, today, Mr. Tojik wanted to do six. What was it? 18 and then 20.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know 20 was the one I suggested. Oh, no.
Okay, I don't remember just okay, let's start with 20 then. Would you like to go first?
Gaming X. Yeah, I can. I have a very specific one, to be honest. Um, sorry, eating a French fry. Um, so, like I said, very specific. But and I guess I should say the a question for this one is gaming X. Um,
Yes, I should have said that. What? I am so dumb. Why didn't I say that?
but I have a very oddly specific one. Um, so the the lever action shotgun, yes, the freaking.
Which game is this in?
It's actually in multiple. Hold on,
Oh,
let me uh make sure I know which one I'm talking about. It's the model 1887,
87.
the Winchester.
Are
It's
we talking like
the Terminator shotgun,
the
basically.
yes? Are we
Um,
talking the OP ones from MW2?
no, no.
The old?
The shotgun I like. It's not the shotgun itself that I dislike, because I actually really like that shotgun and whatnot. The ick I
Yeah, it's a
have
classic.
personally is actually with the Terminator flip and how it's used in a lot of games. It
Oh
don't
yeah, because the rolling it around would like. Actually, I should probably like say because I probably have figured out what you want to say.
the my ick about it is it's a good reference, it's very classic, and it's very badass. But some games, it's completely unnecessary. Like, um, I'm just gonna go ahead and call it out. The one in Fortnite, of all games, of course. When they added it, they had it to where every time you shot it, your character did the Terminator flip, which is cool and all.
Yeah.
But to me, it started getting kind of annoying, and I would say that this was when I kind of got the ick, because it made me realize, and not to, uh, I guess, toot my own horn, but now that I've been working with gun animations, it kind of made me realize that that is like a split second more to the animation for a flip that's completely unnecessary to a lever action weapon.
Yeah, totally. I can definitely see that.
So it's cool and all, and
It
I
is.
don't mind it when games do it, especially if it's like,
She,
I don't know, like maybe they do it when they pick it up, and it's, I think Apex actually does that. It's not particularly that shotgun, but they have a lever action where one of the characters picks it up and they do the Terminator flip. That's cool. But having the character do it every single time you fire the gun is kind of annoying to me, I'm gonna be honest.
is it that you you think there's too much of that of not ammunition tagger animation? Do you think there's too much of that animation, or it just doesn't make sense?
I just think um I just think it's used, I don't know how I would word it. I think it depend it should be used better in like, okay, just to give the example, I don't like how Fortnite uses it. I don't, if you're going to put it in, which it's, I'm fine with
It's
putting
already
it
in.
in, but don't make it every single time you fire the gun. It,
So it could be like a Battlefield secret reload.
sure, like a Battlefield secret reload, or the character does it when you pick up the gun or equipped it, whatever. But I just think annoying. It's annoying when it's every single shot in between.
Okay, yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah,
Uh, Fun fact though, the that style of that flip actually predates Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator movies.
I'm sure it
I
does.
think it goes back as far as 1939 Stagecoach, which was like one of the first John Wayne movies. Only it was like a regular lever action rifle. But he does that. Like the first scene we see John Wayne's character, he's hailing the stagecoach by shooting in the air and then doing that.
Hmm.
Uh, Chuck Connors went on to do that in The Rifleman, more specifically in the opening scene. But like both the rifles in the John Wayne movies, because he had this like had an enlarged lever to where it's almost like a big bubble instead of the regular lever, you know?
Yeah.
They're they were specially made to be able to do that without breaking your hands. And this is actually remarked upon in El Dorado, which we talked about last episode, when the drunk sheriff, played by Robert Mitchum, meets up with the gunslinger, played by John Wayne, in the beginning of the movie. And Mitchum's character says, "I had my rifle done up like yours," remarking on the enlarged lever.
Hmm. That's actually interesting because I've only ever heard that called the Terminator flip because, well, I heard it
The
from the Russian
Terminator did
Badger. I'm gonna be honest with you.
it.
I forget
Yeah.
which game he was
I mean, it
playing,
makes
but
sense it should be called the Terminator flip because it was the Terminator used in 1887 instead of like in 1873 or something, in the which were rifles.
hmm.
Uh, I've got three. I was not gonna say the first three, but I think I'll put them in. The last two are gonna sound really bitchy, but you all know me. The first one isn't an ick. It's more of a puzzlement. It I'm not I'm not mad at it because I don't even play the games, but it's like a kind of curious why. It's putting PvP in Souls likes. Cause like again, I don't play the games, but they're already like monuments of single player games, right? They're like fantastic single player games. It just seems odd to me to kind of like staple PvP mode or whatever into it, if that makes any sense. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm more confused than anything,
Well,
or just curious.
I guess I can kind of answer that. I couldn't tell you why, but I I could explain how it works, and maybe that will kind of clarify it. So, first of all, it's actually completely optional. Um, you don't have to play. I mean, depending on the game. As far as I'm aware, the actual like original Souls games, I say original, like the From Software ones, that it's uh like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, I believe it's literally just online and offline mode. Excuse me, I ate those fries a little too fast. Um, but it's completely optional, and it was like the invading mechanic, where basically, if you wanted to, you could just have it that some player can come to attack you, and the game notifies you when it happens, of course. And or you could even go invade someone else, and really, it was just kind of for fun. Some of the games have it have like an interesting dynamic with it. I want to say it's like Demon Souls that does it. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Any Souls that's listening to this. Um, but there was actually one of the From Software Souls games, has it to where if you become like the champion of one of the NPCs in the game, then you, for the quest, become the boss fight, and you can fight other players trying to beat the boss, and you effectively become the boss in that way.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can I know you've probably noticed by now because what came out 22 or 21. Sniper's Elite 5 has that like exact mechanic, the invasion mechanic.
Yeah, I forgot they also have an invasion mode.
Yeah. I I need to go play Sniper Elite 5. I downloaded it when it first like released and I haven't played it since. There was a stupid thing in the beginning of that. The first mission is to like go ashore and destroy anti-ship batteries so your submarine doesn't get hit. But like the entire time the submarine stays above the water and it's just sitting there in seeing distance of the German garrison. And it gets blown up the second you reach those bunkers. I was like, dude, you're a submarine. Sub is there for a reason.
I don't know. I wouldn't know that.
I mean, it's just like writing, like have to move the excuse me, etc., etc. Yeah.
But anyways,
Uh, do you do we want to continue with gaming X or like moving to different stuff?
up to you, man. Actually, I don't really
What?
have any other icks that I can think of.
I'll rapid fire my last two. Getting your care package stolen by teammates in Call of Duty and sniper users in Battlefield 1. It the care package one is self-explanatory, right?
Yeah,
It's like some
I'd agree with that.
yeah. I'd argue like nobody should be able to take your care package at all, but it's like, well, if you're on the enemy team and you manage to take out a guy next to his care package, it's like fair play, right?
Yeah,
Like you won. So,
but I can
but
totally see.
I swear, I
Oh,
think I was so mad. If I had gone into the mirror, I probably would have been bright red.
yeah, I'd actually agree with that. Like, it's one thing when it's an enemy care package because that's kind of the risk reward. But then it's another thing when teammate Joe Master 47 just snags it because you got murdered by a grenade or whatnot. But
Yeah, I don't remember his name specifically. This was in Cold War, but he was wearing the price skin. So maybe he's compensating for being too broke to buy a proper skin. Because the price skin like comes with the game, if I remember correctly.
I don't know. But
And the big problem with snipers in Battlefield 1 is like the maps are like so big and there are a lot of like hills or cliffs or whatever that overlook the entire map.
right.
So somebody just can plink you relentlessly over and over. As like I played one game of Operations and it was the Russian DLC, the Russian Revolution DLC. And the way Operation works, it's like you could call like 4 or 5 mini games of conquest stitched together. Like the attacking team has to capture the objective or objectives, and then move on and so forth until the entire map is secured. And it's like 2 or 3 maps stitched together, like
Huh.
1 or 2 or 3 maps stitched together.
Right.
And the one area that we were currently in was just a flat white field, and it was probably no bigger than a football field. It was just a small, flat white field, and people were using snipers. I was probably, I can look at that, it's probably not so bad if, like, I'm looking at it, but, like, when you're playing it actively, and it's just them over and over again, it gets frustrating.
You know, I never played Battlefield One, so I never really experienced that. But I do actually recall relatively when it came out, watching my older brother play it, and he was on like it was I want to say it was like a desert ish map. Um, and yeah, I remember he kept getting sniped by people hiding on the cliff sides. He got mad enough that he decided to bombard one with a plane. That was kind of funny. So I may have not experienced battlefield sniping myself, but I have witnessed it.
We should probably play it sometime, honestly. Operations is so cool. The it's I don't know, it's really intense. It's like it actually feels like a war. You have to like you're like really getting in there trying to like grab the objective, you're trying to hold it, you know? And it's like, oh, it's so much fun. And then like there's like 2 rounds and there's 3 rounds per game. The two if the if the attackers don't take the entire map in the first game, in the first round, then they get a behemoth. And the behemoths, right? The
Yeah,
Zeppelin,
yeah,
the train, the dreadnought.
yeah.
Oh, this it's a whole lot of fun.
But it does
I'm
look
I'm
fun.
kind of sad that all the operations server like there's nobody playing operations in Battlefield 5. It's dead.
Damn.
then again, Battlefield 5 is not a high a caliber game as BF1.
To be fair, I forget that there's a Battlefield 5.
Fair enough. Uh, how are we on time?
We are currently at 20 minutes.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Just
Let's
trying
see.
to think if there's anything else. Like another ick or rant or whatever.
Um, I mean, if we really wanted to, I'm pretty sure an ick the majority of people have is a lot of the shit you see uh, a lot of the AAA games doing now. You know, like the dare I say, uh, actually, if I say that, it's gonna sound like I'm defending it. Microtransactions. No one likes
Yeah,
microtransaction.
that
Um, well, I don't know. It depends on what you're getting for that transaction. Like,
yeah.
and just
Dude, I spent probably hundreds of dollars on Cold War for skins.
oh
Just
yeah.
like each one is what 2,400 COD points,
Well, and to be well,
and what's that translates to like $20.
yeah. I'm not gonna get into pricing because each game has different pricing, and like I said, depends on the quality of the item. But like, I'm definitely guilty of spending a lot of money on cosmetic things. But to be honest, I feel like it's one thing when it's just like swag, like when it's just for pure swag. Like you buy it once, and then you have this, you have the drip for your character for ever, and then it's a whole nother thing when it's like, in fact, the newer CODs are very guilty of this. The very dreaded
Yeah,
word of pay to win, because a lot of these COD games
yes.
definitely had it. Mostly in Cold War, I'm gonna be honest, is when I really started. Well, no, 2019 also had it. You'd buy a gun, and the gun came pre-modified with all the best attachments and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
So,
I can't really speak because I've quit COD multiplayer. So
well,
it's
yeah, I've kind of quit COD in general. Um,
uh,
but I mean, I have spent plenty of doubloons on Team Fortress 2 to buy a fancy hat that I quickly replaced for a different fancy hat, but
yeah. Oh,
um, let's see, what's another very common.
do you remember Battlefront collections?
Um, I remember the
It was
catastrophe
the
that
first
happened with
two.
that.
Yeah, it was the first two Star Wars Battlefront games that were supposed to be remastered, but it was like it basically came out pretty much unplayable. It was like
It
70, what was it, like 80 gigabytes?
it was something
When the
ridiculous like that.
first two original games were like 10 combined. It was also like 15 or $20 more than the first two at full price combined.
Yeah, and
And it was just a massive pile of shit.
it was
It was like
like
they used AI on everything. And then like when it came to like the DLC content that was only there for the original Xbox and like the PlayStation 2 versions
yeah.
that they put in there, they took they stole it from a workshop mod.
You know what? I remember hearing about that actually.
Yeah. And the whole thing, it's like, how do you take two finished games and then make them unfinished?
I like. because I listened to Moist Critical or Penguin Zero on YouTube talk
Yeah,
about
I
it,
was
and
when we
I, I I like his theory of how he says like, well, he doesn't like claim. He said he made a joke about how like on like an X-wing model they like put extreme high amount of detail, like the highest resolution. You can see the reflection just in two random like windows of a ship, and that's what's taking up all the memory.
fucking probably I was I was re I recently like reinstalled and uninstalled and reinstalled New Vegas because I was trying to make it work, and it was less than it was like 10 gigabytes, I think, or like 10 mega. I don't know. It was 10 something. And this is New Vegas. This is not a small game. And I think that was also including all the DLC. I was like that. And then what? Tweaking a texture on the modern CODs takes like but every update, not even like gameplay updates, like not like the new seasons and whatnot, like just regular random updates is like 25 trilobytes or something.
Something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like I guess the it could be doing crap jobs of remastering games.
Yeah,
Like, did you hear that Bethesda was gonna remaster Oblivion?
I heard
It's like
something like that. Like they were going to try, or there was rumors of them
talk
trying.
of
I
it
don't
or
know.
something. Yeah, but I find that very sus because A, haven't heard anything since, and like Todd Howard is a pure rattle is a pure snake oil salesman. It should be like every week. It's like, hey, remember we're remaking the classic game that I premiered on. This is the first game I ran for Bethesda. We're remaking it, and also I think it came out about that announcement came out about the time like Sky Oblivion was like getting close to completion. So I wonder if them just saying that wasn't just an excuse to get at the Sky Oblivion crew, like how they did the completely game breaking.
I
Uh,
mean, oh, I mean, I try not to be skeptical like that, but you could have actually something there because that I remember when Skyrim Together was like, I don't want to say like near completion, but like I remember they literally like were giving out news about like how well things were going, and then just boom out of nowhere Bethesda told them, "Hey, we're fine with you making this mod to make Skyrim multiplayer, but you can't." They said like you couldn't upload it on this, or you couldn't use like the some software. So basically, Bethesda just came up and said, "Hey, we're fine with you making this, but don't make it using this." So they had to like start all over.
yeah, they're it's kind of like a decline, isn't it, of Bethesda?
I don't know,
Shit, that's probably 30 minutes there, isn't it?
just short. We were at 29, but I will.
Want to continue so we just don't leave on something depressing like that?
Sure. What's
Six could be funny, but it depends on like how I deliver it,
Actually, you know
and
what? I have
so
one
could
more ick
18.
to round this off.
Oh, please do.
Um,
Go ahead.
uh, um, I'm gonna take uh, I'm I'm gonna take another mostly jab uh at Fortnite again, but really it's any game. Going back to microtransactions when it comes to skins, I swear to God, every time, and I call out Fortnite in particular because this is where I experience this the most, but really it's any game that has cosmetics for sale. When you tell yourself, when you buy a cosmetic and then you tell yourself like, yeah, I'm happy with this. I'll just kind of, you know, I I don't want to fork over any more doubloons. I feel like I'm spending a lot of money. And then the next week, they put something in the shop that you desperately want, and so you're sitting there with the dilemma of, do I fork over more doubloons or do I make the smart financial choice and not uh and save money? Like,
Oh, man, that was the worst. That sounds awful.
in fact, I'll
I've
give you the exact example that I'm experiencing with this right now. Um, I just did that exact same thing with Fortnite. Bought some sort of I bought some emote or something, some cheesy emote in the shop, and then literally this last week they did it's an icon I it's some collab with some artist. I honestly do not know the artist, but I want his back bling because his little back character is literally a ginger cat chilling on your back with a katana. Like, that is literally the back bling I need in my life. And they want me to fork over $10 for it. And I'm very angry about it.
yeesh.
Not exact
Yeah.
pricing, but still.
Uh, yeah. I, I there was something with a Cold War pack. You know Ravenov, right? He had his own pack. I didn't know like when he had the like scythe and everything, the scythe.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't remember if I bought it or not.
I can't
Go
remember.
ahead.
No, that was it. I was just saying yeah.
Okay. But when the Russian invasion of Ukraine started in March of 2022, apparently they took down his pack like randomly without saying anything. And it all kind of like points to like they took it down because it looks like because it has the Soviet symbol on the Soviet patch on his jacket.
Oh.
It's like, wow, that's gee, it's almost like he's an agent of the Soviets.
It's almost like
Like the
this.
entire other team, the entire other half of Op 4 operators all work for the Soviets, or at very least against NATO.
Next, you're gonna tell me that Call of Duty Cold War is set during the Cold War.
I don't, yeah, I'm literally about to go. It's like, what's that? You might as well take the entire campaign out then, dude.
I mean, to be fair, I we make that joke, but there was also there wasn't an actual like. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't an actual war to the Cold War. It was more of like the threat of war and nuclear annihilation.
I mean, there definitely were proxy wars like Vietnam and Korea and everything in Africa.
Right.
Mm,
I don't know.
fucking all the shit with Israel. But like, yeah, you're right. It was a very, very tense standoff. That's why it's called a Cold War.
Yeah.
Nothing really the US and Russia themselves didn't come to blows. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask.
And that's a discussion probably not
Yeah,
for us to decide. Two random guys
yeah.
sitting on a couch.
Uh,
But that,
but it's also, I think it's also doubly stupid because it's the guy working for NATO, as in he's like, I mean, Omega is kind of like Omega. If I remember correctly, Omega's kind of like going rogue by the time of Firebase Z and the Outbreak Easter egg where you run into him again.
oh, yeah, something like
If
that. I
I
can't
remember
remember.
correctly. And like, oh yeah, the one good Soviet you taken out, and then just leave his weapon in there. Though he did make a return in shit Modern Warfare 3.
Did he actually?
Yeah, he's if you've like seen anything for 2023 MW3 Zombies, he's the bearded guy with
Oh,
the
okay,
yeah,
yeah. For
yeah.
that,
That
I other
that
than
would
the
probably be
beta,
like
I never touched the new MW
yeah. I
three.
think I like saw it on TikTok or something. It's revving on. It's revving on. It's like oh, it's it was. It's like who runs the writing team? Who's running the writing team over there? Honestly, because like
Well, okay,
it seems
actually,
like who's doing the Warzone writing and the campaign writing are like two entire different studios almost.
well, you might
Like probably like
actually be
past two
right
different
there
studios.
because I think they handed it off to
I
like
mean, I know it was Sledgehammer that did three.
it was Sledgehammer who did three, and I want to say it was like actually Treyarch that did the zombie storyline,
Oh Lord.
but like,
I mean,
or
makes sense. They're the
try
people that
to.
actually know what they're doing.
But I am also going to go ahead and put a defense for them a little bit because I remember hearing how the campaign for MW3 like or for the new MW3 um that writing was literally changed like last minute before the game came out, and the writers were it wasn't supposed to be an actual sequel to
Yeah, it was supposed to be
it,
DLC.
it was supposed to be a DLC, and it wasn't supposed to continue like it wasn't supposed to be like Price and Soap and Ghost. It was supposed to be different people who encounter Makarov, and it was supposed to lead into the eventual, um, I guess you could say, showdown storyline
With background
with Task Force, 141
141.
141. But
Yeah,
they were like, no, it has to be a sequel. So they literally had to take this last bit of writing that they had and somehow slap the main characters in there. So
yeah.
in relatively defense, it's the corporate side's fault as well for
I
um
know. Fucking Activision CEO wanted to cash out before he dumped it on Microsoft.
yeah.
I'm just trying to think of like his. I'm not gonna look it up if he's
Yeah,
there or not.
it
Still,
don't matter.
like also, a funny thing happened. I think it was like last week or so. They like added 2023 MW3 to uh or it was something. It was like I think it was a notification like for like the new season of MW3 2023, but it was the cover of MW3 Xbox 360, the proper MW3. There's, I could have sworn I put a topic in here about like there it is, number 10. I was looking too far down. I want to talk 40K because 40K is a very silly setting.
Go
It's just
on.
how ridiculous it is. I thought it'd be something to round off the somber conversation we had earlier
I
with
guess.
about microtransactions and such. So, do you want to talk about favorite factions or just talk about 40K in general?
I'm gonna be real with you, man. I don't know enough about 40K. I played Space Marine on the 360, and I looked into getting Space Marine 2. Um, and I know very little about the factions,
All right.
but
Uh, I was trying to find Space Marine 1. The original one is not on Steam. There's an anniversary edition. Uh, the cheapest one was $60 on Amazon. There was one for like $130.
damn.
I found one on the GameStop website for like $16 if I use my pro account. And I think the only way I could probably get it is to like if I set my like zip code to Tri Cities and have the one at the mall and have it sent to the one at the mall to be picked up.
Yeah, that's a little overcomplicated.
Yeah. It's like that's the cheapest one I found.
Whack.
Uh, if I remember correctly, you do have a favorite 40K faction. We talked about them when we went to the hobby store with your younger brother.
I mean, I guess I like the green ones. The
The orcs with a K.
no, the green Space Marines, the ones that actually like care about saving people.
Oh, the salamanders. They're my
Salamanders.
favorite too.
Yeah, I guess.
They're also the ones with the flamethrowers.
Yeah, I guess I do like those guys, but I just don't know enough about. I just don't know enough about all of them to really compare.
I mean,
Which I mean, I kind of
that's
want to
true.
get into Warhammer, especially with Space Marine 2, but I don't got money.
There's a channel that does like almost like documentary length stuff on 40K lore. They've talked about other stuff. I think they've talked about Dune, not Doom, Dune, the Robert Herbert
Yeah, I
uh, movies,
yeah.
and but yeah, they're very. It's called Ice Lysander and Coda. They're very it's like us. It's like two dudes. One talks about something they're interested in, the other one like asks questions or talks commentary.
Interesting.
And they've got like two videos on the salamanders. They've got one or two on the orcs. I think they've got a video for basically every Space Marine Legion. Uh, I know they've got like two overview videos for the Primarchs. Wait, the Primarchs are like the founder of the legions, and like it's their genetic makeup that goes into making a space. Say like it's like if Halsey made Master Chief and Fred, Linda and Kelly and Sam, and then they went off to make their own groups of Spartans.
Interesting.
Like Fred's and using the DNA of Sam, Fred, Linda, Kelly, Chief, and so like Fred's would be the leaders, Linda's are the snipers,
Oh,
etc.,
I
etc.
see.
That's what a Primarch basically is.
Okay.
Uh, but a lot of the Primarchs are like missing or just straight up dead.
Damn.
Uh, wrote the Primarch for the Blue Space Marines, the Ultramarines, the one you play as in both Space Marine games. They're he's alive. He like walked up. He woke up from a deep nap. Another Primarch I think woke up recently. Uh, I think I think it was Dorn. The Dorn is like a big Viking looking guy, like the blonde super face, super beard.
Hmm.
I think Dorn does the Iron Warriors, who are like the fort builders. Like they specialize in making fortifications.
Okay.
Vulcan is the Primarch for the Salamanders, and just I dude, I'm we might have to like just record another video to talk about the history of like the Legion, talk more about 40K or whatnot.
Maybe save
I
it
will
for
say that,
another day. I don't think I have the energy for recording another episode at the moment.
yeah, that's totally fair. We'll say though, my two favorite factions are to be a basic bitch is first of all, it's the Imperial Guard. You know, for the Emperor, Cadia stands, all that. My favorite guard ration is the Deathcore Krieg, which is just, which is, I guess, encompasses everything about me because it's like they're based on like World War I soldiers.
Oh,
They've got like the German gas masks, the French helmets, and they're suicidal.
I remember you talking about these guys actually.
Yeah. They're, before I ran into the Deathcore Krieg, I just thought all guardsmen looked like the Cadians, which is like the green armor and the helmets.
Yeah.
Like think like Fallout 3 slash Fallout New Vegas combat armor. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
you ran in the guys you run into in Space Marine. Those guys, I thought those were like the entirety of the guard. But like they're incredibly varied. It all comes down to planet. There's there's Krieg. They shoot their whole bit is they think because they're the result of like a 500-year civil war from when like the rich oligarchs on the planet tried to secede from the Imperium, and it caused a nuclear war. And so that's why they're all about the gas masks and whatnot in trench warfare. There's one called the Vostroyan Firstborn during, I think it was the Horus Heresy, which just think of like a big space marine civil war. I truly cannot even begin to go onto it here because there are 54 books on it alone. Not for like the entire
Jeebus.
40K universe, 54 just for this one conflict.
Oh my
That happened even before you get into 40K.
Jeebus. I wish I could have that
My cat was
aggression to
getting
play.
into the freezer when my mom's trying to get into it.
Cat
So
love.
that's the noise you heard. What were you saying?
Oh, I said I wish I had the power to write like that.
I don't Honestly, I don't think it's the same guy. I think it's like a whole bunch of different people.
Oh, probably,
I
but
don't know. I'll
still,
look it
like
up
50
later.
books
But
just on
basically,
him.
the Vestorians, when they were called upon to send men for the Imperial Guard, they didn't. And then one of the Primarchs went back and then, as a punishment for not giving soldiers and instead keeping them to make weapons because they were a military industrial complex planet.
Yeah.
Uh, they have to surrender their firstborn children to this legion, to
Damn.
this regiment.
Damn.
Yeah. I've seen art of like English soldiers from the Hundred Years' War, but next to a World War One artillery piece, there's like three different flavors of 20th century Russian military. There's so many.
Hmm.
And of course, they've all got a whole bunch of toys. They've got artillery, tanks, air vehicles, the APCs and whatnot.
Huh. Interesting. Well,
And then,
was
should we call it?
yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything else? Because this is about like already 16 minutes of extra slap on.
Yeah. And it was like 40. That's
Y-
enough.
yeah, yeah. All right, hit him with the outro.
All right. Thank you again for watching. Tell us what your favorite 40K faction is in the comments, or like if you have questions about anything, video games, history, 40K, ask us. And definitely we'll definitely say something. Yeah, I'm gonna buy you. I think I'll buy you one of the Dawn of War games because it's like they're very good. Warhammer 40K RTSs. It's Halo Wars, but
Yeah.
40K. I think you might like it.
Ironically, one of my
Unfortunately,
coworkers
they
recommended
don't.
them to me.
Yeah, the ones I have played, I don't. They don't have the salamanders.
Oh well, I'll
It
just
sucks.
probably try to learn a bit more about Warhammer, especially since I am actually interested with Space Marine too, because it looks pretty good. But
Yeah, I would
that's
definitely say watch Lysander and Coda. Stay away from Major Kill and Arch because those two. The last two are pretty scummy.
damn. Well, I think that's it for tonight. So
All right.
thank you all for
Thank you,
listening,
everybody.
and yeah, we'll catch you all later.
Bye bye.